Okay, today we are playing a game on Numbani. We are in the Platinum SR range, and we will be playing Reinhardt the entire way through. Our current team composition is... It's Reinhardt, Zarya, D.Va, Pharah, Tracer, and Ana. It's really bad. It's pretty bad. I don't think you have to imagine too hard to think of a better team composition than that. There's a lot of them, actually. At least the one person picked Ana. That's about as good as they can do with this team composition, honestly, but, So anyway, putting that aside, I got a few questions in the email today that we will address thusly. So first, how can I get better at countercharging and blocking Earth Shatter? I don't think I have a very good reaction time despite my 144 Hz monitor. And I get fucked pretty easily by this. Being proactive to Earth Shatter rather than reactive yields better results, but I struggle with countercharge. So yeah, being proactive with Earth Shatter is always better than being reactive, as it's an ultimate that sets things up. As with countercharge, I mean, I don't have a very good reaction time either, honestly. Rather than worrying about your reaction time, I would just try and get better at reading the enemy Reinhardt and anticipating when he is likely to try and charge you. Because if you're anticipating it, it's easier to react to, and you have a pretty wide margin of time to react to, because as long as you push shift before you get pinned, you will countercharge. It doesn't matter if you're physically moving or not yet. As long as you've started charging, you will bonk off of each other. Similarly with Earth Shatter, like, it's basically impossible to react to it. It's just that you want to get better at reading the other Reinhardt and just anticipating it. Blocking Earth Shatter mostly comes down to patience, where you're just like, that guy's probably got Earth Shatter right now, so I'm just gonna hold my shield at him for a really long time. Maybe I'll try and bait the Earth Shatter out of him. But mostly I'm just gonna, like, hold my shield up against him, because he has Earth Shatter, so I don't want my team to get fucked by it. It mostly comes down to patience with blocking Earth Shatter. People just get too excited to go in there and start hitting people, and then the enemy Reinhardt goes, oh, well, now I'll Earth Shatter, I guess. So it's mostly just about being patient in that regard. Countercharging, don't worry about reaction time so much, just try and get better at reading when the enemy Reinhardt's likely to charge, and then... It's easier to react to something if you're anticipating it, and you got a pretty wide margin, because he's probably not charging, like, right here, right next to you. You've got, as long as you push shift, you'll bonk off each other, so just try and get better at, like, he's probably thinking about charging me right now, and then not so hard if you're anticipating it. Next, how do you deal with Mei and walking past choke points with her on 2 CP? It seems like I get walled, and there's not a damn thing I can do about it. If she has half a brain and wait until I'm committed. So yeah, this is the thing where if the Mei is actually, like, good and has patience, you won't really have many options. The best you can do is, like, start walking through the gate with your shield up, and then just as you're crossing the threshold where you think Mei's gonna wall you off, you just step back, and then the goal is to end up on top of the wall rather than cut off by the wall. Now the thing is, if you fuck that up, you die. And if the Mei is smart, she won't let that happen more than once. So really, like, you bait it out, end up on top of it, drop down behind it, wait till it goes down, and then try to go in on that one push before the cooldown can come back up again, if at all possible. It's one of those things where if the Mei is playing well, you as Reinhardt don't have that many options to you other than that, basically. Or try and get the whole team to go through the checkpoint or the choke point rather, at once, so that the wall happening doesn't matter, because you're all in there and all committed. Otherwise, you might just have to change to another tank, if it's that much of a problem getting through the choke point. Because you really don't have many options as Reinhardt. It's one of those things where, like, you can try and bait the wall out of her, but, like, realistically, you'll probably get fucked. And, like, if you get through the first choke point on Hanamura, for example, but then you're trying to go up, like, onto the balcony on the right-hand side, it's really hard to walk around that corner without getting walled off. So it's going to happen a lot right there. It's one of those things where, like, you kind of either need to go in all at once, you need to try and bait it out of them, or just change to another hero. Like, if you just change, like, a dive tank, you can, like, slide right past them. Hammond will be really good for this, actually. Like, Hammond would be really good at dealing with this, because he can, like, fly away, basically. And he's, like, sturdy and difficult to kill, just rolls away from people. So he'd probably actually end up being pretty good against Mei in that situation. But yeah, Reinhardt doesn't have that many options open to him other than trying to bait it out. Everything else kind of requires teamwork, or just changing heroes, unfortunately. It's not the answer anyone wants to hear, but, like, if the Mei is good, like, she'll just wait until you are fully committed, and then wall you off, or wall somebody else off, you know, like, it's difficult. So next, should I be trying to peel, or should I trust my team to kill flankers like D.Va? They're usually alone, considering it's low platinum. It seems like if I don't do this a lot of time, the lone diver somehow manages to wipe my team's backline. So the thing is that ideally, no, you don't deal with this yourself, because you're playing Reinhardt, so you're meant to be more focused on the front line. But if you don't expect your team to actually be able to fend the D.Va off, you should go back and try to help with them. The caveat here is that, sorry, I punched the microphone. The caveat is that if you think you taking your shield down is going to get your team killed, you can't do that. Similarly, if you think you taking your shield down is going to result in the enemy team engaging on your team really hard, you can't take your shield down. You might end up having to give up ground and, like, slowly back up with the team to be able to deal with it first. Like, just, like, walk back, shield up to try and hustle the team back, and then collapse on the D.Va. Ideally, you don't have to deal with the D.Va as Reinhardt, but, like, we often don't live in an ideal world, do we? So, if you think you taking your shield down is going to get your team killed, don't do it. You just kind of have to trust that your team's going to do it at that point. But if you can realistically take your shield down and move back without, like, your team getting fucked as a result of it, go back and deal with the D.Va. Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things. Ideal world situation, you don't have to do that, but people are bad, as I'm sure people can tell by the way things are currently in the world. Many things about our world are not very ideal. So, unfortunately, sometimes we do have to come back and smack the D.Va. Now, if it's D.Va or Winston or Hammond, this is easier to do as Reinhardt. If it's someone like Tracer or Genji, you can't realistically help with those heroes very much. If Genji's using Dragon Blade, then yeah, go try and smack the Genji. Go fucking man fight him, right? Hammer beat sword on the fucking weapon triangle. Go beat him up. But if it's like Tracer, you can't really do anything about that as Reinhardt. If it's Reaper, you can try and help as well. But like someone like Tracer or Genji, you can't really do much about that, really. So if it's Winston, D.Va, or Hammond, you can go back and deal with it. But if it's like a flanking DPS, there isn't so much you can do about it as Reinhardt, and it'll end up often being a waste of your time to go back and try and help with those heroes. The tanks are not such an issue, though. Second, and then the last question, what communication should I be relaying? Do I even need to be in voice chat, or is it a fruitless waste of time? In my experience, it is a fruitless waste of time, yes. I play Reinhardt, and I don't join the team chat. Now, that being said, if you do want to use the team chat, by all means, feel free. Many people would claim that team chat is absolutely mandatory. I would disagree because of a myriad reasons that I've relayed many times and won't hammer that horse to death anymore. But I don't bother with voice chat because I find it to usually be a waste of time. I'm also an asshole, so me being in voice chat more often than not results in a lower percentage chance of my team winning than a higher percentage chance of my team winning. Now, that being said, though, if you're trying to communicate effectively as Reinhardt, you want to communicate when your shield is getting at low health and you're about to take it down so that your team can get out of the way. You want to be communicating where you're going to be going, because you want your team to be following you, so you want to try and get them to group up. So you say, like, just say it, like, we're gonna go, like, we're on fucking Anubis, we're gonna go left, we're gonna go right, just so everybody knows which way you're going. Even if it seems like the way you're going should be obvious to you, it's not necessarily obvious to everyone. So just say it anyway, just so everyone's on the same page at the start. And then if you change ideas because you're like going left on Anubis, but then you see like fucking Symmetra and Junkrat are in that doorway, go, Symmetra and Junkrat are over there, let's go right instead and avoid them. Try and communicate when you have your ultimate. This is a fairly straightforward one. If you're probably keeping track of the enemy Reinhardt's Earth Shatter more closely than anybody else on your team, so if you think the enemy Reinhardt has Earth Shatter, tell people that he probably has Earth Shatter, and to be careful of it, because, you know, you don't want people walking forward in front of you and getting killed as a result of that. And yeah, just like, if you're trying to get the team to push in together, be like, alright, we're gonna push in, we're gonna start pushing in, like, I'm gonna count down and we're gonna start push in or something like that, you know, or we're gonna start going in now. Or when I put my or I'm waiting for my shield to recharge, and as soon as it comes back up, we're going in. You know, something like that. Just so everyone knows what we're doing. Because you're the one that's taking the initiative, right? You're the main tank, so you're probably the one that's facilitating the push. So try and get everybody on the same page. We're going this way. I'm letting my shield recharge, and then when I put it back up again, we're going in. Something like that. You don't really need to communicate that much, like... This is the point with all communications in general. You want to convey meaningful information as succinctly as possible. So it should be very short, to the point. I have ult, my shield's about to break, or I'm going to take my shield down. When I put my I'm waiting for it to recharge, we're going in. When I put it back up, just like try and keep it short and to the point. Because you don't want to bog communications down, because... other people got to talk as well and try and communicate as well. You don't want one person just hogging the whole thing. That's so that I don't think it matters. You don't need to join voice chat. I got to masters playing Reinhardt, and I never joined voice chat once in my entire life. And some people would say if you're going to play a hero like Reinhardt, you have to join voice chat. If people see a shield, they probably are going to stand behind the shield most of the time. Some people will say, no, they don't. They don't do that ever anyway. No, most people actually like not dying. So as long as they're half sensible, they will try and stay behind the shield, if nothing else. And it's just stupid monkey brains that we have. We remember the negative experiences more vividly than the positive experiences we have. So it always seems worse than it actually is because of the way our stupid monkey brains are. But that is the answer to all of your questions that I have right now. If you felt I answered any of your questions inadequately, please let me know, and I will try to expand further. And now let's start the game. So we got to attack Numbani first with our really bad team composition. And Numbani's a pretty hard point to capture. The first checkpoint, anyway, is pretty hard to capture in general. So we don't really want to go up the staircase. I hate going up the staircase. I advocate going, like, basically any other direction at this point because, like, there's just so many, like, it used to be more practical to go through the doorway, but now, the way the game is right now, fucking, like, Junkrat, Orisa, Hanzo, fucking Symmetra soon, like, it's just gonna, it's so difficult with all the spam in the game currently to get through a doorway like that. Oh, cursor's on the screen. It's just not... It's not feasible to do, really, anymore. So let's go back. This is, like, really unexpected for this to happen. If they have a Mei, that's really obnoxious as well. Yeah. That's basically what you do in that situation. Like, we didn't know they had a Mei. Mei walled us and then jumped down on us really decisively, and the rest of our team, like, look at it, was mad scattered because that's the way the team comp is. You're gonna get fucked on that one, basically. Sometimes it's not feasible to get around something unless you're clairvoyant, basically. Team's dead, we gotta regroup right now. Didn't go super well. We did at least manage to capture the first tick, so hey, that went great. I'm a little scared of how close we're standing, just because people are quite likely to try and poke over the balcony on top and try to kill you. Less so with the team comp they've got right now, but if they've got like a Hanzo or a Widow, pretty likely, you know, then you might suddenly get shot in the head. So we're waiting for our team to regroup. Tracer died at a really awkward time. We've now decided that we're going to go up here. This is an awful idea versus a fucking Mei. So alright, Mei used her wall really badly. Take your shield down. They can actually shoot it from the other side of the wall like this, and you can't go through because of the wall right now. So then we ended up getting, like, absolutely wrecked. Was it Reinhardt? Ah, there he is. That would have been a hard one to react to. I'll give you that one. Could have still done it, certainly, but there was a relatively small window to see him through, and you didn't see him for that long, so I'll give you that one being difficult to react to. Was definitely still possible, but I can certainly understand being unable to react to that one. That basically the only play right there was react to that charge a little bit better. Might have also not figured he was going to hit you through the wall like that. Reinhardt's pin is, like, really jacked up. Like, it gets up to some shit. So if there's ever, like, a doubt in your mind that it might still hit you, just countercharge regardless. Like, Here's always a fun one, is that if you got like a pirate ship comp coming at you, this is I'm thinking specifically of the payload on Route 66 when I say this. If the bastion's on the low part of the payload, relatively close to the edge, you can charge up to the payload, it will yank him forward and down and pin him against the payload. Like, it's really fucked up some of the ways the pin works. Like, I look at the boy and be like, if I just charge straight at the payload, I'm gonna pin him, and he's gonna be upset about it. Pin hitbox is jacked. Just like, assume if it might hit you, assume it's going to hit you and countercharge regardless. Shouldn't go in. Team's dead. We're just gonna die for free. Half our team was already dead when we jumped in. Not a good time to go in. Yeah, nano boost. He didn't even use tac visor, did he? Damn. So now our team comp has gotten better, because now we actually have another healer. Now we just got triple tank. It's not great still. Like, we got a really low damage team like this, right? Because we've got 2 main healers as well now. So, like, I'd like D.Va or Reinhardt, or not, D.Va or Zarya. I'm looking at fucking Reinhardt on the screen. D.Va or Zarya to change. Zarya's got her ultimate, so it's not realistic for her to change right now, but I'd like one of the tanks to change to a DPS at this point. Because we're gonna have 2 main healers. Like, we got no damage with this team comp, really. So it's a little easier to get through this doorway right now. Because we have another healer. There's still the Mei issue to deal with, but now we're getting it. We're pushing through. So this is a difficult situation. This is one of those situations where your communication might help. You might want to say to D.Va, go get the soldier, because you can't realistically look at the soldier without opening your team to Earth Shatter. So, like, now would be a good time to communicate for D.Va to go get soldier, because he's just shooting us in the side, and we've got to keep looking at Reinhardt. Jumps off in the end anyway. Now we could just look over and block the soldier, especially, you know, somebody's got to go over there and deal with him, and, like, D.Va's the most realistic one. So Reinhardt just killed himself, and Farah just pushed Roadhog off. We've won this fight, because both their tanks are dead. Soldier just died as well. We're gonna win the fight now. Hooray. It's convenient when somebody on the enemy team kills themselves, generally speaking. It's very hard to pin Mei after she comes out of Ice Block. I find it helpful to listen to the audio. That's a difficult... We couldn't react, actually. Our charge was on cooldown until the last second. Unfortunate. What I find is helpful is to listen to Ice Block rather than try and, like, count it down or anything. Because it starts, like, hissing a little bit more right before it breaks. It's just a very difficult timing to get, though. I probably get it, like, 25% of the time on the Mei. It's difficult. So, we have Earth Shatter. He's got Earth Shatter as well, so we gotta be aware of that. Don't use Fire Strike when Earth Shatter is off cooldown, or when you have Earth Shatter. You mentioned this in the email, so I know that you know not to do that. I do it all the fucking time. Wow, that sucks. Holy shit. God damn. Anna ain't having any of it. No fucking sir. She ain't having any of that right there. So, yep, fair enough time to Earth Shatter. Could have Earth Shattered sooner, because, like, right here, immediately I'm like, I want both of these boys on the ground. He can't block it because he's still going to be in the charge for a while. Unfortunately, we couldn't pin the Roadhog or anything like that. This ends up not really converting round into anything, and now we just have to leave. Fair enough time to Earth Shatter. I would have done it as well. It looked like the fight was still tenable, but it turned out to not have been. It's alright, Earth Shatter charges really quickly. They're on the street phase of Numbani. We got a lot of ultimates. Like, things are still going well, honestly. As I was saying, I still use Fire Strike. I'm really bad at this. Do as I say, not as I do. I still push the Fire Strike button so much because I'm like, I just want to do 100 damage to these boys right now. Even though I know it doesn't do anything. I push the button and I'm like, why did you do that? Why did you do that, stupid monkey brain? It's like, because doing 100 damage to 5 people seemed like a really good idea. That's 500 damage we did right there for one button push. Think about it. Yeah, but myself we couldn't do anything. So it didn't really achieve anything, did it? But it felt good. You're not wrong, but we shouldn't have done it. I still do it all the fucking time. I'm bad, though, so there's that. So, Roadhog over here, he's performing some illegal shit. This is definitely... He's asleep while he's pinned. Watch that. She tranks him. He's already pinned. He's asleep while he's being pinned. It's definitely the time to charge. He can't get out of the way. It's all good. There's the argument that you should hold the shield up to that instead because you don't want your team to get earth shattered while they're going into hit on the graviton, but it's the wrong play for him to use earth shatter inside the graviton anyway, so you can go in and swing as far as I'm concerned. It's almost never the correct play to earth shatter inside the graviton. It does happen, but it's not very often. So we have earth shatter still built up. I'm pretty sure he has earth shatter. I don't remember him using it at any point during that. So this is the hard checkpoint to capture though. The first checkpoint's hard to catch. I think the third checkpoint is the hardest one to capture. Again, we fire striked when we had earth shatter. Don't do that. So I haven't been keeping track of how many people we've really been blocking damage for, so we can't let this happen. We let our shield break. Oh no. Oh, that's a fair enough response to having your shield break. Like, I've definitely been in situations where I've been like, my shield is fucking done. He's got earth shatter. I've got to earth shatter him first or we're gonna die. So that's a fair enough response. Unfortunately, we only managed to hit Zarya with it because, like, even though he's definitely in front of us, it's a very thin cone right in front of us. This is why it's hard to earth shatter people directly in front of you. Because, yeah, it bows out to be, like, fucking gigantic, but it starts out really fucking, like, pinprick narrow, which is very upsetting. I kind of wish it was just, like, a big block line in front of you, rather than this cone. Because it being a cone in front of you makes it really... It makes it very unintuitive when people are close to you to actually hit them with it. And like you might say, well, it doesn't really make much sense for it to be a giant line block coming off of you. And that would be, like, obnoxious. But, like, the ultimate itself is still already scary. This wouldn't make it any more scary, really. It just makes it more intuitive for the Reinhardt to use. Because the counterplay to Earth Shatter is block the Earth Shatter, basically. Or dodge it, right? So it's not press right up against him and hope he misses you. So, anyway. It's a fair enough reaction to it. They've just used, like, 97,000 ultimates. So we end up losing this fight regardless. We did manage to build up half of an Earth Shatter before we died. That's about the best you can do in that situation where you're gonna die regardless. Like, there's no way you get out. The best thing you can do is just, like, try and build up more ult charge before you die. So, anyway, that happened. We don't have many ultimates, I don't think, right now. We did push tab a second ago, but I wasn't actually looking, so, you know. Because I'm off in my own little world all the time. So we're trying to walk our way forward. Unfortunately, they're, like, better at breaking our shield than we are at breaking theirs because of the Junkrat. This is a very brave play. I'll assume we were trying to bait Earth Shatter, because that's the, that's the kind of thing you would do if you wanted to try and bait out an Earth Shatter. Just kind of, like, jump around in front of the Reinhardt for a bit with your shield down, and, like, he's not super likely to go for it, but sometimes they do. And then you can, block the Earth Shatter. Block for this lady. Just, like, put your shield up around her real quick, and, like, we end up having to try and pin this person away. Like, if you see somebody using an ultimate in front of you, block for them. But we do end up having to try and pin that person away. We end up missing it. I'd go for it as well. It's just unfortunate that we didn't get him. Because if the nano-boosted Reinhardt's coming at you, the best thing you can do is just try to get him away from your team. It's easier if you have the Earth Shatter, but we didn't have Earth Shatter at the time, sadly. Ooh, not quite. Feels bad. So his shield's really close to breaking. Our shield's really full health, so I want to keep walking forward right now. Oh, we should have been ready for that. We should have been ready. Because here's the thing. We know with certainty that his shield is about to break. It's getting close. So we should be trying to get in position to just use Earth Shatter as soon as it breaks. At this point, blocking becomes a little less important because we know we're going to be using our ultimate in the next few seconds. So we should start kind of drifting in this direction because we want to be able to basically fill the entire street with Earth Shatter as soon as it comes, as soon as his shield breaks. And then, like, as soon, right now, bam, we see it break, we push the button, we'll hit a bunch of people with it. We wait a little bit, we still get people with it, so, you know, it ends up being like that we get a bunch of people with it, but we should be ready to just slam that button as soon as we see it breaking. Rather than doing, like, the little bit, and we, like, step forward and then Earth Shatter. Like, we should be just ready to go as soon as we see it break, because we can see it breaking. Unfortunately, the guy we try to pin gets bubbled, because we didn't hit, the Zarya with it, tragically enough, and then Moira had Coalescence as well. Like, I would have been all for it. Unfortunately, it doesn't end up working out. Was there a better target to pin? Not really, because of, like, how far back those boys are. I'm just, like, really, like, is there a way this goes just a little bit better? Because, like, I think it was still advisable to go for it. If we used it a little bit sooner, like if we were ready as soon as it broke and Earth Shattered, we would have got their Ana on top of the payload right there, because she's like hopping around up there, rather than slightly behind the payload, and we could have walked forward and beat her to death instead. Because ideally, we can try and kill we can kill the squishy targets before we kill the tank. Our whole team is behind us, right? Like, they are alive. Yeah, like, they're all alive. It's just very surprising that this went so badly. I guess it's just because they weren't ready or something like that. It is true that you should be calling out what you're going to do in advance of this, because we don't actually say anything about it, and seeing as you specifically outlined communication as something you wanted to improve on. That, like, we know right now we want to use Earth Shatter, so we should call out that we're about to use Earth Shatter as soon as his shield breaks. Like, you should say, as soon as that breaks, I'm Earth Shattering. Or I'm ulting, or something like that. You know, again, to be quick and to the point. Ana does die, like, as soon as we engage, which is unfortunate timing. Yeah, like, we should call out that we're gonna Earth Shatter as soon as it breaks, but, like, it was very surprising that went so badly, honestly. Like, it, looked like it was gonna go better. We also weren't gonna get a better opportunity than that one, because if you'll look, we've changed to Lucia to try and get back to the point faster. Boostio! Yeah, we weren't gonna get a better opportunity than that. It's just unfortunate it didn't work out. Maybe if we called it out, it would have gone better. They turned it around really decisively, though, so it wasn't really a better, like, pin target or anything, because the payload was kind of in the way. Yeah. So all you can do is your best, and sometimes your best ends up not being enough. Yeah, I'm just still thinking about it. I'm just like, I guess we just didn't have enough ultimates at the time, I guess. Unfortunate. Whatever. So, we're waiting for them to appear right now. Elevator music is playing in my mind. So, they decided to go underneath us. We try to pin Reinhardt. That ends up missing, but we end up pinning the Zarya, which honestly ends up being better because we kill Zarya. Mercy's going to res Zarya. She shouldn't do that because Zarya is just likely to die immediately after being revived. And that's exactly what happens. So Mercy has staggered Zarya for us right here. I'm going back for us to see if we could have been blocking during this period, because I saw people die. Junkrat's up there. That's wild. Where's Ana when she dies? I don't even know where Ana was when she died. Yeah, no. This is fine. The pin play is, the charge play is a little bit on the, optimistic side. But the Reinhardt was facing away from us at the time. So, there's that. I don't think it was like necessarily a super bad idea. It's unfortunate that we missed him, but then it ended up being better in the long run regardless, seeing as we killed Zarya. So anyway, whatever. Fucking, I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm tired, I suppose. So, we've almost got Earth Shatter built up. There, Reinhardt built up, like, no charge off of that fight. Like, he didn't get to do anything. We've got a huge ult advantage on him right now. He's got, like, 30%, something like. Both our healers just died. We lose this fight. Unless we are going to land the sickest Earth Shatter of all time, which we did not land. We shouldn't even use it in this position, because it looks like we're going to lose this fight regardless. Like, I see both healers die before the fight starts. I immediately write that fight off as being a lost fight. Where was Anna when she died? How did she die? Because she got shot in the head. I saw that. What happened to her? Where was she? Oh, and Farah died beforehand as well. So that's even worse. Did Anna jump down? Was that Anna jumping off? Step forward a little bit, because there's nobody in the doorway. And we can see stuff's happening in the street. So we should be standing more, like, over here, so that we can actually block for Anna, who's trying to, like, look down the street. Because we, like, it's fucking empty. We can keep an eye on that regardless, because we can come over here, stand here, hold left click, and, like, keep an eye on that. You can still see down it regardless at that point. But we should be standing in a... We're not standing in a super helpful position for our team right now. We can see nothing's here. We can see stuff is over there, though. So we should be standing to block it. Especially since Anna is trying to engage in that fight right now. She jumps down, so, you know, that's fucked. We should jump down with her, honestly, though. Because, like, I know we don't want to. So I've been banging the shit out of the table today. We don't want to be down there, but Anna has just elected to jump off of the high ground, and we know there's a Hanzo over there, and I think Junkrat's over there as well. I think I saw bombs coming by. Yeah, like Junkrat and Hanzo are down there, so like, I know we don't want to be down there, but we can see Anna's done that. Nobody else is up here with us, nobody else is pushing through that doorway anyway right now, so we can jump down there and like, try and make sure Anna doesn't die, because she just performed an illegal maneuver, this much is true, yes, but we still don't want her to die, so we do have to try and save her regardless. This is the thing when you're playing Reinhardt, is that sometimes you have to do something that is stupid for you to do, because if you don't do it, your more stupid teammates are gonna die, and then you can't do anything as Reinhardt anyway. Shouldn't have ulted by that point, the fight was over, we lost both our healers, fight's done. But yeah, I know we don't want to be on the low ground down there, but given what Anna just did and what we know is down the street, we should have done it regardless. Unfortunately, we used Earth Shatter, so now we can't use it to try and stall them here, because ideally we pick a fight right here, and like, his shield is getting really low. Like, his shield's breaking. If we've got Earth Shatter right here, it'd be really easy to Earth Shatter a bunch of people right now. Unfortunately, we don't have Earth Shatter, so we can't do that. And now that's gonna have this cascading effect in the near future. Now we're asleep. Oh, he wants it so badly. Oh, I can see what's going through his mind. He's like, I want this shatter. And he gets his shatter, and then the tire kills us. Oh no. This could have been prevented if we saved our Earth Shatter, because we could have definitely found an opportunity to Earth Shatter up there, given that his shield broke in front of us. Let me show you what's on the other side of this cup. Hey. So, unfortunate. Yes, truly. The mistake we made early on in that round is now having this cascading effect where they've pushed all the way through the second checkpoint basically for free. And our team's probably getting real tilted about it. I'd be upset. But I'm an easily upset person. I'm not sure what we're looking for right there. We were looking for something. We know he can't Earth Shatter us, so it's not the end of the world that we looked away in that position. So here comes the Graviton. We pin the Reinhardt out. Reinhardt's dead. Ooh, Dragon comes back through, kills a bunch of people. We didn't need to pin the Reinhardt. We could have gone up and just started smacking into it. But then we probably just end up dying to the Dragon anyway in hindsight. Pinning the Reinhardt out of the way is also perfectly fine, because then he can't block for the people in the Graviton, which is helpful if you have a relatively static team just shooting into it. It's not a big deal. So it looks like he wants to Earth Shatter based off that maneuver right there. We're letting our shield get real low. We let it break. Oh, no. You outlined that in the email as well, so I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to belabor that point super much, but... God. Just Earth Shatter that boy, because we just saw his shield break again, right? Up. I'm trying to see if his shield actually broke, because I couldn't tell from that. Because, like, I want to Earth Shatter that guy. Like, I want to Earth Shatter that soldier, I can tell you that much. It does break. Right there, Earth Shatter immediately. As soon as it breaks. We wait a little bit, we still achieve the same thing with the Earth Shatter. I can see why we fire struck at that boy over there. I actually want to fire strike the Mercy, though. Because we go back, we do this, we know Mercy's right there. Mercy's coming in, she's gonna try and res these people, because she's using Valkyrie right now. If we hit her with the fire strike while nano boosted, she is mostly dead. So, if she's at full health, so then our team might be able to kill her, but we're fucked in that position regardless. Or were we trying to fire strike the tire, actually? Because he did do that in front of us? No, he did it behind us. That's why I thought he did it in front of us, because we were looking at him. No, so, unfortunate. Feels bad, man. The big thing here, though, is that us wasting Earth Shatter on the team fight that we had lost ends up costing us a lot more in the long run because we couldn't capitalize on the enemy Reinhardt's mistake of letting his shield break. We ended up losing so much ground so quickly that just basically dictated the pace of the rest of the round. So that, was it strictly entirely our fault we lost? No, like a bunch of people got picked off and died right ahead of time. We could have tried harder to keep the Ana alive, but your options are limited at the same time. She still might have died regardless, because she did die really quickly after jumping off the edge, so we might not have even kept her alive regardless. So yeah, the defining point where we had an opportunity to change the outcome of this game was saving Earth Shatter rather than using it on the fight that we'd already lost, because that ended up basically costing us the second checkpoint. Because we might have still fucked it up regardless. We might not have found an opportunity to use it. It might have gotten blocked anyway. We'll never know because it happened in a parallel universe, but it's not hard to imagine that if we had Earth Shatter right there when his shield broke, we could have stalled them out on the second checkpoint, and at that point, the whole game looks completely different then. So who knows what could have happened from that point on. Yeah, that's the point, the point right there. Our team wasn't super helpful in this game, as you might have noticed from the team composition right at the start of the game. But I do think we still could have perhaps had the opportunity to change the outcome of this game. It ended up not being, even though they captured it with a lot of time to spare, it was relatively close. It's the kind of game where one or two things going differently could have resulted in a drastically different outcome. Anyway, so let me just look at the other things you outlined that you thought you did in your email. So. I charge too frequently. I don't really think you charge too frequently. A little bit, I guess, but I didn't really think that it was a huge issue. I know I charge too frequently. Didn't countercharge sometimes, that was true. Used my barrier selfishly. I'll admit I was bad at keeping track of that one. It felt like we were mostly in front of our team, but our team was also very spread out throughout a lot of the game. So given the way our team was, this might not be the best game to judge that one on. Was too aggressive and used hammer too much. I wouldn't say that's true. I would say that the bigger issue was that because your shield management wasn't that good, you ended up feeling like you had to go in and start swinging more, because what happened a few times was our shield got really low or broke in front of them. So the one time we used Earth Shatter because our shield broke, so we were like, fuck it, basically. I wouldn't say it's that you played too aggressively. I think it's because the shield management wasn't super good that resulted in you having to play more aggressively because you're like right here with a broken shield. And at that point, your options are jump around in front of them with a broken shield or try and hit them. So I think that using the hammer too much was more a result of not managing the shield correctly rather than being too aggressive. Tunnel visioned, it didn't really look super like it, but a little bit, I guess. Peeled? Maybe I didn't do that in this game, but I'm not sure. There weren't many opportunities for you to peel in this game. I can't think of any. Like, there was the point that we tried when, the nano-boosted Roadhog Reinhardt situation was going on, where we used Earth Shatter and stopped both of them, but the fight ended up being a loss regardless. There weren't really any other opportunities to peel, really, that came up. I used Fire Strike when I had ult, yeah. I think I let my shield break at one point or another. We did that a couple times, which is really bad. You don't want to ever let that happen. The biggest thing was, like, shield management. There's a lot of, like, jumping around in front of the enemy team with a really low shield, letting our shield break, things like that. And that mostly comes down to just being patient and standing out of the way to let it recharge to a decent amount, rather than just going out there and swinging at them with or like advancing into them with a half-broken shield. You were way better about that than the average Reinhardt, to be fair. Like, oh, I've seen such worse. I've seen so many worse Reinhardts than this game right here. Even like all the way up. Like, we actually did wait for our shield in a couple situations, which is more awareness than a lot of Reinhardt players have. So there's, oh god, oh Jesus Christ. So anyway, thank you very much for watching if you did. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer. If you felt I answered your questions from the email inadequately, please let me know and I will try to expand further. If you haven't already, you can join our Discord and ask questions more directly and have a conversation about them or just shitpost with us. And I hope you found the video helpful. Oh, that was a bad one, actually, but hopefully